Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my reading stats for December 2018. Don't worry, I will have a yearly one coming up in another day or two. So we're just going to talk about the stuff from December just to kind of keep the whole thing going. And so I'm going to tell you about my reading for the full month, and then I'll show you a few little things I do in my bullet journal. Yay! Okay, so monthly stats. So I read 13 things this in December, which was pretty good for me. That's a good number. Again, as I said, I usually average between, I would say 6 and 10 is about normal. So anytime I hit over that, that's always awesome for me. 8 of those were physical, and 5 of them were audiobooks, which is really surprising, but 2 of them are really, really short ones. I also had one reread that was an audiobook, so that was a little different. Well, I mean, I have that every once in a while, just it was. I did read 4 mangas this month. I meant to read 2 more, but they're waiting for January, I guess. And then I did reread 4 things. So a couple of those were added in to my books I finished because it's been over 10 years since I read them the last time. But 2 of them did not count. So 2 of them did and 2 didn't. I guess that's how I want to say that. Any DNFs, I take it back. 3 of them counted and 1 did not of the rereads. Anyway, so I did DNF 1 book. It was a library book that I do want to get again at some point. I just was not in the mood for it, so I took it back to the library, and I will get it again when I'm up for it. And then how many did I say that in my TBR that I was going to read that I read? I only read 4 out of the 11 books I mentioned in my TBR, which is why my TBR project has changed for 2019, which you can see the video on that and see that I'm doing it a little differently. So we'll see how this all works out. But I did 4 of the books. Not super bad. I mean, it's bad. It's less than half, but a couple of those were library books that I just decided I didn't want to read. And a couple of them were books that I started earlier this year and just wanted to finish, but I didn't get to them. Then, oh, I forgot, I have my little cheat sheet, all my questions here. So, and then how many of the books that I did read, how many were from my shelves and what were they? I had 4 physical books and 3 audiobooks from my bookshelves or my stuff. From the library, I had 4 library books, physical, and 1 audio book from the library. And then I had 1 book borrowed from my dad that I read. And then how many were I currently reading that I carried over that I did not finish? And it's only 1 that technically crossed over, except for those 3 that were already on my currently reading that I put aside, and I haven't decided if I'm actually gonna finish them or not. But technically, only 1 of them was a new one that I started in December and moved to January. And then this is the hard number. As I said, I'm doing this for accountability purposes. I did buy 40 books in December. Now, a big chunk of that was my trip to Pals with gift cards and Christmas money. But and then a couple of things did come from gift cards from Amazon that I bought. But half of it was not. So half of it I could say was Christmas. So they were gifts and they didn't really cost me any money. But half of it was still I bought. So that's still way too many books, considering that I only read 13 and half of those were from the library or my dad. So anyway, so again, my whole book buying thing is in place. We're going to see how it goes into January. I'm a little worried. Again, this is only like the first week of January, so I can't really say if it's working or not, because I bought a lot the last couple days of the month just because I kind of freaked out that I knew I wasn't going to buy a lot. Which is what I always do. So we're going to see how this works. But I bought 40 books last month and I didn't read any of them. None of them did I pick up during that month. So I did pick up one of them this month already. So hopefully you know, I'll get a couple of them read. But really, I mean, again, I love books. Clearly, I love books. And it's hard to say no when I want to buy books. Anyway, so, again, I am going to be working on it. I still don't think I'm ever going to read a lot of what I just purchased, except for a few pre-orders that I know I'm going to read right away. But really, I have a tendency to buy a book and then it sits for a few months before I get to it because I have so many other things I already want to read, which you think that would help me hold off. Anyway, so that's my whole, sorry, book buying. I could have a whole nother video on talking about the book buying, but I might wait until after I see how January goes. Anyway, so let's just say December was a fail on that. Again, I hadn't started that, but I meant it just overall. But I got a lot of great books. Okay, so number of pages read is 3,638 pages for the month. That averages out to 117.4 pages a day. So for me, that's great. Again, my goal is to read 50 pages a day on average for the month. So anytime I'm over 50, I figure it's a win. I'm not going to be upset about it. If it's under, I'm still like, oh. But there's usually a reason. Either I had a slump, or I was writing a lot, or I was rereading a lot. And again, I do not count rereads that are less than 10 years. Like, it's been 10 years since I read it. So if, as I said, some of my rereads, I count when they're over 10 years or older that since I've read it, because I don't remember the story as well. But so this is counting all the stuff that's a reread that was older and all the new stuff I read. So 117 is really good for me. Anytime I get over 100, I'm excited. It doesn't happen all the time. So my star ratings this month were pretty good. I had 2 5-star reads. I had 8 4-star reads, and 2 3-star reads, and 1 2-star read. So overall, that was really pretty good, actually. And again, I give 4s more than I give a lot of things. Anyway, I enjoyed it. So here's where my genres, this is actually one of my longer lists because I kind of broke up some of my nonfiction that I did in here, and I just don't know how I want to do this going forward. So I'm trying something, so you'll have to let me know. But I had 1 science fiction book, 2 book nonfiction books, 1 nature memoir, 1 job-related memoir, no, 2 job-related memoirs, sorry. 1 biography, 3 classics, 1 historical fiction, and then just 2 general fiction. So it could be anything. So, you know, it's kind of a weird mix for me. I mean, I still, considering that it wasn't nonfiction November, I was still reading a lot of nonfiction because a lot of I was carrying a couple things over, and then the library came up with a couple things that I got for November that didn't show up until December. So I don't know. It's just, as I said, I'm trying to hit my genres, and that was still, again, another nonfiction month for me. Still pretty awesome overall. My favorite book of the month was, without a doubt, The Three Musketeers by Alexander Dumas. This was a reread, but it has been over 15 years since I last read it, for sure. I just can't remember, every time I've read it, which is kind of sad. I mean, I thought I had it figured out. No, I don't remember. Anyway, so, I reread this, and it was definitely my favorite book because it was such a journey, and it's epic. I just love that and I want to continue. Anyway, and then my least favorite book, I just don't have it here because it's on my Kindle. I read The Chimes by Charles Dickens for a read along on Instagram for reading some Dickens Christmas stuff, and I hated it. I mean, I liked it. I liked the voice because it was, I did it as an audiobook from Richard Armitage, and it was really, he was really good, but overall the book itself, I was just kind of like, I didn't really like it, so, but I've read it now, so at least now, that's done. Anyway, so, those are kind, and again, that was my 2-star read, so it wasn't like I hated it, it was just okay, like, it's super okay, it was like, okay, that was good enough, I don't need to read that again. So just to show my reading for the month, again, this shows how many pages I was reading. You can see Christmas, there's no reading on Christmas, but it's pretty good. I had some pretty good some big days. Like, as I said, I was doing audiobooks as well as physical books, so I got quite a bit read. And then just to kind of show you this, is my reading chart for the, and it just shows, again, I said, if I have a blank, that means there was no reading that day. That's why there's only one missing. And if there's a black dot, that means there's a reread happening that day. So there was only a couple of days in here with the reread. I didn't count all the rereads because some of them were over the 10-year count. But, you know, really overall. And again, next year I'm not going to put the greens so close together because it's hard to tell. Anyway, so that is kind of where I'm at for my stats for December. How is your guys' reading in December? I know a lot of people, it kind of is weird with the holidays. And again, I had some days off, but some of those days were cleaning or getting ready for holidays or hanging out with my family and buying books. Anyway, so I hope you guys had a great New Year, and I hope your reading is going well. And I will see you guys later. Bye.